Hey friends, welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's often surrounded by misconceptions and confusion. What does the Bible say about sex? It's a subject that's both intimate and important, so let's approach it with honesty, respect, and biblical wisdom. First off, let's clear the air. Contrary to what some might think, the Bible doesn't portray sex as taboo or inherently sinful. In fact, it's presented as a gift from God when enjoyed within the right context. Let's explore this further. The origin of sex. Our journey begins in Genesis. After creating Adam and Eve, God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and increase in number." Genesis 1:28. This was essentially God saying, "Go ahead, have sex." It's clear that sex was part of God's good plan for humanity from the very beginning. Sex within marriage. The Bible consistently presents marriage as the proper context for sexual intimacy. In Genesis 2:24 we read, "That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh." This one flesh union is a beautiful description of the intimacy shared in marriage, including sexual intimacy. Celebration of marital intimacy. The Song of Solomon is an entire book dedicated to celebrating romantic and sexual love within marriage. It's filled with poetic and sometimes quite sensual language, showing that God is not embarrassed by sex. He created it. Sex is more than physical. In 1 Corinthians 6:16, Paul writes, "Do you not know that he who unites himself with a prostitute is one with her in body? For it is said, the two will become one flesh." This shows that sex is not just a physical act, but a joining of two people in a deep spiritual sense. Warnings against sexual immorality. While the Bible affirms sex as good, it also contains many warnings against sexual immorality. For example, flee from sexual immorality. 1 Corinthians 6:18. But among you there must not be even a hint of sexual immorality. Ephesians 5:3. These passages remind us that sex is powerful and should be treated with respect and wisdom. Sex and procreation. While the Bible presents procreation as one purpose of sex, Genesis 1:28, it's not the only purpose. The intimacy and pleasure of sex within marriage are also affirmed. Mutual rights and responsibilities. In 1 Corinthians 7:3-5, Paul talks about the mutual sexual rights and responsibilities of husbands and wives. This passage emphasizes the equality and mutuality of the sexual relationship in marriage. Now let's address some common questions. Is sex before marriage always wrong, according to the Bible? The Bible consistently presents sex as something for marriage. While there's no specific verse saying, "Thou shalt not have premarital sex," the overall biblical sexual ethic points towards keeping sex within marriage. What about same-sex relationships? This is a complex and sensitive topic that Christians have varying views on. The traditional interpretation has been that the Bible prohibits same-sex sexual relationships, but some Christians interpret these passages differently. Regardless of one's view, all people deserve to be treated with love and respect. Is masturbation a sin? The Bible doesn't directly address masturbation. Some Christians believe it's wrong, particularly if it involves lust or pornography, while others see it as a morally neutral way to manage sexual desires. This often comes down to personal conviction. What if I've struggled with unhealthy versions of sex or sexual intimacy? Remember, God's grace is bigger than any mistake we might make. 1 John 1:9 assures us that if we confess our sins, God is faithful and just to forgive us. Here are some principles we can draw from the Bible's teaching on sex. Sex is a gift from God to be enjoyed within marriage. Sexual intimacy is more than just physical. It's a deep spiritual union. We should treat our sexuality with respect and wisdom. Mutual consent, respect, and love should characterize marital sexual relationships. God's design for sex is for our good and our joy. For those who are married, prioritize intimacy in your relationship. Communicate openly with your spouse about sex. Remember that serving each other extends to the bedroom too. For those who are single, embrace your sexuality as part of who God made you to be. Find healthy ways to manage sexual desires. Remember that your worth isn't tied to your sexual experience or lack thereof. For everyone, guard your heart and mind. Be careful about what you watch, read, or think about. Remember that God's grace is available no matter what your sexual past looks like. Seek to honor God with your body, including your sexuality. In conclusion, the Bible presents sex as a beautiful, powerful gift from God, designed to be enjoyed within the covenant of marriage. It's not something shameful or dirty, but neither is it something to be taken lightly. Like all of God's gifts, it's meant to be used in ways that honor Him and love others. What are your thoughts on this topic? How can we create healthier conversations about sex in our Christian communities? Share your ideas in the comments, but please keep the discussion respectful and kind. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. We tackle important topics like this every week, always striving to approach them with biblical wisdom and grace. Until next time, keep seeking God's truth, loving others well, and remember, in all areas of life, including our sexuality, we're called to glorify God and enjoy His good gifts.